In this Marvel's Midnight Suns hero video, we're going to be taking a look at Hulk. He is the last hero you gain in the game. He's sort of a tank DPS hybrid character. Absolutely devastating. And in this video, we're going to take a look at the cards we want to use with him and sort of show you how to set him up properly for the most possible carnage. Before we get into the cards, though, let's talk a little bit about his rage mechanic and how that works. Hulk gains 1 rage every time he uses the smash ability or when he takes damage. So as he taunts enemies and they attack him, he's going to gain more rage. And every time he uses smash, he's going to gain a rage. But anytime he uses any other damaging ability, he's going to lose 1 rage. What this means is that you're going to have sort of this seesaw back and forth as your rage builds up. You use it on damaging abilities, and then it goes back down. However, it only goes down by 1 every time you use an ability, which is not a lot. It's a lot easier to build up rage the way we're set up than it is to lose rage. So you shouldn't be worried about using too many abilities. And indeed, the way we have it set up in our deck, you're going to be using smash a lot, so you're going to be able to gain back a lot of rage that way, as well as through tanking. So let's take a look at the smash card. The smash card is an attack that applies stun to the target, so if you don't kill it, it's going to be stunned. You're going to gain 1 rage, and you won't consume a rage, so you're getting net 1 rage when you use this ability. And if the target is at full health, you'll deal increased damage and you'll generate a little bit of heroism. I have modified this card later on to be quick, because essentially what we want to do is start out with a weak enemy like a minion, kill it with this ability, then get 1 more rage so that your this damaging ability will now kill like a regular enemy. Use it again somehow, either pulling it back with other card mods or other cards like Doctor Strange's, attacking and killing a regular enemy, building up 1 more rage, now attacking and killing an elite enemy. If you can pull it back again, or if you have a second copy of it, and then you're at this point you've built up your rage, you haven't consumed any card draws, and you're wiping out some of the most difficult enemies on the board. And then about that point you want to drop some AoEs or something like that. This strategy is a lot harder to pull off if you don't have smash modified to quick, because you're going to eat through your card plays with the way this is set up. However, by the time you get Hulk, you'll easily be able to modify your cards. You should be very familiar with how they work, so this should not be difficult to do. The next card we're going to take a look at is Challenging Roar. Challenging Roar is a taunt. It's a single target taunt, meaning it taunts 1 character. It gives you 1 rage for every enemy targeting Hulk. So you want to try and use this when you have, 2, 3, 4 enemies targeting Hulk and not just nobody. Otherwise, you're not going to get a lot out of it. The idea here is that you build up your rage really quickly with this ability so that you can drop something like Seismic Slam or World Breaker and just absolutely wipe everything off the board real quickly. Sometimes you get lucky and some of the like Demon Hound things that are on the board will all target him at the beginning, and if you drop this you can hit 5 rage like instantly. In that case it's like boom, Seismic Slam, World Breaker, whatever, map cleared if you can get up to enough heroism before your turn's over. So it's really, situational how you want to use this card depending on what's there. But I've also modified it to draw a whole card in case you don't have Smash or you don't have Seismic Slam. Hopefully this will pull a Smash card for you if you don't have one, and then you can kill an enemy, maybe a difficult enemy at this point because you'll have a lot of rage, and then you'll get your card play back for doing that, so it's really, really good. The next card we're going to take a look at is Seismic Slam. This is a heroic ability that costs 4 heroism, which is not cheap, but it deals a buttload of damage, and this damage gets modified for each point of rage you have, so this gets up to like 800, 900 damage pretty quickly, depending on how much rage you have. It also has a taunt attached to it, which is negligible. Most of the time you drop this, it kills anything it touches. Not really worried about the taunt. And when you've upgraded this, it increases its area of effect, so you're going to hit more enemies. And what I've done with it is I've modified it to give me a card on every KO. You almost always kill everything you hit with it. You get a ton of cards back with this modification, so it works out really, really nicely. Next we have World Breaker, which is his legendary ability. You get this not too long after getting him, but this thing might be the most devastating legendary card in the game. It deals a ton of damage. It costs 6 heroism, which is a lot. But it deals damage, again, that's modified by your rage, so this damage is going to increase if you have a lot of rage. And it forcefully knockbacks everything and hits everything on the screen, no matter where they are, no matter where you're standing. Most cases, this will be a board clear. If you can drop this ability with 2, 3, 4 rage, it's a board clear. So as soon as you have enough to drop this, assuming there are a lot of enemies on the screen, drop it. And lastly, let's take a look at Always Angry. This is a skill that basically makes Hulk consume all his rage to heal himself for a ton of healing. He'll almost always overheal with this ability, at least when you first gain Hulk. But really what we want to use this for is emergency healing. You almost never need it for that, but you never know. So we got 1 in here. But also, because it increases your maximum rage by 1. So then you can have up to 6 rage, meaning your damaging abilities are going to hit even harder if you can get up to 6 rage. And it gives you some heroism. And you can also modify it to draw like the last card you played, or to draw a Hulk card. So if you draw this at the beginning of the game and you don't have any other good Hulk cards, you can at least draw a Hulk card, gain some heroism from it, and not lose any rage because you haven't built any up. So it kind of works in a pinch that way as well, and it gives you an emergency heal if you need one. And that's why we really only have 1 in our deck, because you really don't need the heal from this, at least on the easier difficulties. So talking about which party members work best with Hulk, first let's take a look at Doctor Strange. He not only has a card that boosts the damage of all his abilities, which is really, really good, because we're primarily focused with damage with the way we're set up. He has another card that will pull back attacks, and as I mentioned, we want to use Smash as many times as we can. It gives you 1 rage every time you use it. It gets stronger and stronger and allowing you to wipe out enemies. The damage to health at full keeps going up as your offense goes up also. So you can start to one-shot really difficult enemies when you're at max rage, which is awesome. So any modifier, by the way, that says draw attack or last attack played, you're going to want on your cards, as well as on your heroes cards that are in your group. Because if you can just keep pulling that back, generate all the way up to 5 rage, drop Seismic Smasher, World Breaker, it's over. That's it. That's all you have to do. So those are a really good modifier to look out for, and Doctor Strange has a card that can do that without even modifying it. Nico is a really good matchup for him too, because she can give him counter, which is fantastic for this build, because if you didn't know, your counter is based off your offense. So the more he builds up his rage, the harder he hits when he counterattacks. So as enemies are taunted attacking into him, his hits are just going to hit harder and harder and harder as that rage builds up, meaning he can kill enemies very easily from just taking damage, which is phenomenal. She can also give him Strengthened with Blood Magic, which will just further increase the damage of all his abilities, which is excellent. Fast will reduce the cost of Seismic Slam and World Breaker, which is great. And then obviously Blood Magic itself will make it so his attack abilities heal. So if you're smashing away on things, you can heal yourself back up if you've taken damage. So all those are really good for him and work really well. Additionally, Double Up, when it works out, is really nice that she has. This can copy Smash in your hand, or Challenging Roar, or Seismic Slam. All of these are excellent, or World Breaker even. If it plays out in your favor, you can oftentimes make this like an absolute breeze if that pulls off right. Hunter is really good because of his Wrath ability is free. You can modify it to draw the last card back, which means that you can just keep playing. You play that card. It not only buffs the Hunter character, but then pulls back your last attack, which can give you Smash back, and you didn't even waste a card play to do that. So that's a really good pairing as well. Spider-Man is also a really good pairing here, especially if you're using Opportunist, because that allows him to take advantage of environmental attacks. Hulk has like no focus on environmental attacks at all. You shouldn't really be doing environmental attacks with him if you have Spider-Man in your group. And since Hulk doesn't generate range from, killing targets, he generates it from using Smash and taking damage. Unlike Ghost Rider, there's no conflict there. So you can just use Spider-Man to like use heroism and kill things with stuff on the, the environment. And you can use Hulk to use his abilities, and it works out really, really nicely. As far as heroes I wouldn't use any other heroes that are focused on drawing their cards to be effective. These are Captain Marvel, Ghost Rider, Iron Man, Magic, Scarlet Witch. Those 5 I would try and avoid when using Hulk. It's not to say you can't use them, and if they're set up certain ways, they may not conflict as much. But generally speaking, you want to play Hulk cards when playing Hulk. So if Iron Man needs to draw a bunch of Iron Man cards to be effective, and Hulk's trying to play Hulk cards, they sort of don't either play as well as they could be playing. So that wraps up our Hulk video. I hope that gave you some insight on how to play him. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments. And if you have tips for other players, things I might have missed, you can leave that there as well. We also have the solution to the legendary puzzle at the end of this video if you're having difficulty with that.